Have you ever held your son close, looked into their eyes, and felt something deeper than love? A feeling so familiar, as if you've known them before this life. Have you ever wondered why this son? Why did this particular soul come into my life? Was it just chance, or is there a deeper spiritual reason behind it? According to the great spiritual master Paramhansa Yogananda, there is no accident in the souls we meet, especially not in the ones who come through us as our children. He said something profound and often misunderstood. Your son is your karma. These simple words carry layers of meaning full of love, truth, and a quiet invitation to look within. What does it mean when we say a son is karma? Are we paying for something? Are we being blessed? Or is something even more divine unfolding beneath the surface? In this comprehensive exploration, we will dive deep into the heart of this teaching. We'll explore how the ancient law of karma governs relationships, how your son reflects your soul's journey, and why parenthood is one of the most powerful spiritual responsibilities given to a human being. Whether your son brings joy or challenges, ease or pain, there is always a deeper purpose. You are not just raising a son. You are walking with a soul you've known before, a soul that has chosen you and who you may have chosen long ago. This journey isn't about judgment or guilt. It is about awareness, healing, and love. Because once you understand the deeper meaning of your son's presence in your life, everything begins to shift from confusion to clarity, from burden to blessing. Chapter 1. The foundation of understanding what is karma really. Let us begin by understanding the foundation of this entire teaching. What is karma really? So many people hear the word karma and immediately think of punishment or something negative. But karma is not about revenge or suffering. Karma is simply the law of cause and effect, the most fundamental principle governing all existence. Every thought we think, every word we speak, and every action we take creates an energy vibration that ripples through the universe. And that energy must return to us in some form, just as a seed once planted must eventually bear fruit. This is not punishment. This is divine law operating with perfect precision and infinite compassion. Karma is not something outside of us, some cosmic judge sitting in the heavens, handing out rewards and punishments based on arbitrary moral codes. As Paramhansa Yogananda gently taught, karma is the result of your own past actions. It is your own soul teaching you through experience what it still needs to learn. It is love in disguise. It is education, not punishment. Think of it this way. Just as we send our children to school to learn lessons through different subjects, mathematics, science, literature, art, our soul comes into physical existence to learn lessons through different experiences. Sometimes those experiences are joyful, filled with laughter and celebration. Sometimes they are painful, marked by tears and struggle. But all are necessary for the soul's evolution and growth. Karma brings us exactly the situations, people, and relationships we need to evolve. It is like a cosmic curriculum designed specifically for each soul's unique needs and learning objectives. The beauty of this system is its perfect intelligence. Nothing is random. Nothing is wasted. And everything serves the highest purpose of spiritual awakening. Among all the relationships that karma orchestrates in our lives, the bond between parent and son stands out as one of the most intense and powerful karmic connections we can experience. This is because Family relationships operate in the realm of the heart, where our deepest emotions, most vulnerable fears, and strongest attachments reside. Within the family circle, we cannot hide behind social masks or professional personas. We are seen in our raw, unguarded moments. It is here that our true character is revealed, tested, and refined. This is why karma often returns most quickly and directly through family relationships, because it is here that we are most emotionally involved, most psychologically invested, and therefore most capable of profound transformation. The parent-child relationship, specifically between a parent and son, carries additional layers of karmic complexity. Sons often represent the future, the continuation of family lineage, the fulfillment of dreams and ambitions. They trigger deep archetypal patterns within us, patterns of protection, guidance, legacy, and letting go. Through our sons, we confront our own childhood experiences, our relationship with authority, our fears about the future, and our deepest hopes for what life can become. So, as we continue this journey together, keep this foundational truth close to your heart. Karma is not here to harm you. It is here to awaken you. It operates with infinite wisdom and boundless love, even when its lessons feel challenging or unclear. When your son enters your life, they carry with them a piece of your karmic story, a story that has been waiting to unfold in divine timing, bringing opportunities for healing, growth, and spiritual liberation. Understanding this transforms everything. Suddenly, the sleepless nights of early parenthood become sacred vigils of service. The challenging teenage years become intensive spiritual workshops. The moments of conflict become opportunities for practicing patience and unconditional love. Every interaction with your son becomes a chance to evolve your soul and help another soul on their journey home to God. Now that we understand the loving intelligence behind karma, let us go deeper and explore one of the most profound questions any parent can ask. Why do certain souls become our sons? Out of billions of souls existing throughout the cosmos, spanning countless dimensions and levels of spiritual evolution, why does this particular soul come into your home, your arms, your life? The truth, as revealed by great spiritual masters throughout history, is that there are no accidents in the divine plan. The soul that comes to you as your son is not the result of random biological processes or mere physical attraction between parents. It is a soul that has been connected with you before, perhaps in this lifetime through previous encounters, or more commonly through the deep bonds forged across many lifetimes of shared experiences. This connection operates on levels far beyond our ordinary understanding. Before birth, in the spiritual realms where souls exist in their pure essence, there is what mystics call the soul conference, a divine consultation where souls choose their upcoming incarnations, their families, and their primary relationships based on what they need to learn how they can best serve each other's evolution. Your son may have been your parent in a previous lifetime, teaching you lessons of responsibility and care that now you return by teaching them. They may have been your sibling, friend, or teacher, someone who helped shape your character and spiritual understanding in ways that created bonds transcending a single lifetime. Sometimes, and this may surprise you, they may have been someone who hurt you deeply, and this lifetime offers both souls the opportunity for forgiveness, healing, and the transformation of pain into love. In some cases, the soul that becomes your son may be more spiritually advanced than you are, choosing to enter your family not because they need your guidance, but because they have something profound to teach you. These are often souls who come with unusual wisdom, sensitivity, or spiritual gifts that challenge conventional parenting approaches and invite you to expand your understanding of human potential. This is why, from the moment of birth, sometimes even during pregnancy, there can be an instant recognition, a feeling of familiarity that seems to echo from somewhere beyond memory. Parents often describe looking into their newborn's eyes and feeling as though they're gazing into the face of an old friend, or sensing a depth of awareness that seems impossible in such a tiny being. According to Paramhansa Yogananda, families are formed not just by blood and genetics, but by the invisible threads of karmic connection that weave souls together across time and space. He taught that in the family circle, karma plays out in its most intense and personal way. This intensity exists precisely because family members are not casual acquaintances thrown together by chance, but intimate spiritual companions who have chosen to walk together through some of life's most important lessons. This understanding brings tremendous meaning to every aspect of the parent-son relationship. The souls in your family, especially your sons, are here to help you resolve unfinished spiritual business. They arrive carrying gifts of experience that can help heal old wounds, develop new strengths, and awaken dormant potentials within your character. Some sons are born to return your love souls, who received kindness from you in previous interactions and have come back to shower you with affection, gratitude, and joy. These are the sons who seem naturally loving, easy to raise, and deeply bonded with their parents from early age. Some sons come to test your patience, not out of malice, but because developing patience is exactly what your soul needs for its next level of evolution. These souls serve as spiritual trainers, providing you with countless opportunities to practice restraint, understanding, and emotional mastery. Some arrive to repay kindness souls who received help, protection, or guidance from you before, and now return in the role of son to bring blessings, success, and happiness into your life. These sons often become sources of pride and fulfillment, achieving things that bring honor to the family name and joy to parental hearts. Others come specifically to challenge you, not because they want to make your life difficult, but because challenge is the fastest path to growth. These sons push against boundaries, question established ways of thinking, and force you to examine your beliefs, values, and assumptions. Through this friction, both souls grow stronger, wiser, and more authentic. No matter what role your son plays in this lifetime, their presence in your life carries deep spiritual significance. They have not wandered into your family by accident or coincidence. They have been drawn here by the magnetic force of karmic connection, divine timing, and mutual soul agreement. Both of you signed up for this experience before birth, knowing that it would provide exactly what each soul needs for continued evolution. When you begin to see your son, not just as your biological offspring, but as a fellow soul on an eternal journey, a spiritual companion who has chosen to walk part of their path alongside you, your entire approach to parenting undergoes a revolutionary transformation. It becomes less about control and more about spiritual partnership, less about imposing your will and more about supporting their unique soul's expression. Less about creating a mini version of yourself, and more about helping them become the fullest version of themselves. Your son is here for a sacred reason, and so are you. Together, You form a spiritual team designed to help each other heal, grow, and remember the divine truth of who you really are beneath the temporary roles of parent and child. Most of us enter parenthood with a clear assumption: we are here to teach our sons. We believe our role is to guide them, protect them, shape their character, and prepare them for successful lives. This understanding is true and important, but it represents only half of the complete picture. In the deeper view of karma and soul evolution, your son is simultaneously here to teach you. Parenthood, when understood spiritually, is not a one-way educational process, but a sacred exchange between two souls, each serving as both student and teacher for the other. This reciprocal learning happens on multiple levels, often in ways so subtle that we might miss their significance if we're not paying attention. Often, the very qualities your son brings into your life, whether it's their natural innocence, their stubborn determination, their creative imagination, or even their behavioral challenges, act as mirrors, reflecting back to you aspects of yourself that need attention, healing, or development. Children have an uncanny ability to trigger our unresolved emotions, unhealed wounds, and unconscious patterns precisely because their presence creates the safe space necessary for these hidden aspects to surface. For example, if your son's defiant behavior consistently triggers anger in you, the teaching may not be primarily about correcting his defiance, but about examining your own relationship with authority, control, and patience. His behavior becomes the catalyst that reveals your inner state, giving you the opportunity to understand why certain situations provoke such strong reactions and how you might develop greater emotional mastery. If your son's natural creativity and free-spirited nature makes you anxious about his future success, his presence is teaching you about the difference between guidance and control, between reasonable concern and fear-based worry. He's inviting you to examine your own beliefs about success, security, and what really matters in life. If your son struggles with learning differences or social challenges, he may be teaching you lessons about unconditional love, acceptance, and the courage to advocate for those who are different. His struggles become your opportunity to develop patience, resilience, and a deeper understanding of human diversity and potential. In this way, your son becomes your spiritual mirror, helping you see the parts of yourself that still need patience, love, understanding, and transformation. They reflect back to you both, your strengths and your growing edges, often with a clarity and honesty that no adult relationship could provide. Paramhansa Yogananda reminded parents beautifully, "You do not own your son. You are only a guardian for a time. Guide them, but let them walk their own soul's path." This perspective revolutionizes the parent-child dynamic because it recognizes that both souls are on their own spiritual journeys, temporarily intersecting for mutual benefit and learning. This means you are not here to control their destiny or force them into predetermined molds. You are not the author of their life story. You are a loving, influential chapter in their book. While you may help shape the early pages through your guidance, values, and example, they must ultimately write the rest with their own hands, make their own choices, and learn their own lessons. At the same time, their presence in your life gives you countless opportunities for spiritual advancement. Their love can heal wounds from your own childhood, helping you understand what unconditional acceptance feels like. Their questions can expand your awareness, forcing you to articulate your beliefs and examine whether they still serve you. Their trust can soften your heart, melting away cynicism and reconnecting you with your own capacity for wonder and joy. Their different perspective, unencumbered by adult assumptions and social conditioning, can reveal new possibilities you never considered. Their honesty can help you see your own blind spots. Their forgiveness can teach you about letting go of grudges. Their resilience can inspire you to face your own challenges with greater courage. Sometimes, the teaching comes through joy. Watching your son's enthusiasm for life reminds you to appreciate simple pleasures you've forgotten. Sometimes it comes through struggle. Supporting him through difficulties develops your own strength and compassion. Sometimes it comes through their achievements. Their successes teach you about pride without attachment and the joy of witnessing another soul flourish. The most profound teaching often happens in the quietest moments, when you're reading bedtime stories and remember the magic of imagination, when you're comforting them after a nightmare and reconnect with your own protective instincts, when you're watching them sleep and feel overwhelmed by the mystery and responsibility of caring for another soul's journey. So, dear soul, while you naturally ask, "What should I teach my son?" a question that speaks to your love and sense of responsibility, also gently ask, "What is my son here to teach me?" This second question opens you to receive the full blessing of the parent-child relationship and helps you stay humble and receptive to the wisdom that can come through any age or life experience. When both parent and son approach their relationship as mutual teachers and students, something magical happens. The typical power struggles begin to dissolve because the interaction becomes collaborative rather than hierarchical. Communication improves because both parties feel heard and valued. Growth accelerates because both souls are actively engaged in learning rather than one passively receiving instruction. This mutual learning approach also prepares your son for healthy relationships throughout their life by modeling how to be both a teacher and student, how to give and receive wisdom, and how to honor the growth potential in every person they meet. When you walk together in this spirit of mutual learning and respect, karma begins to lift naturally. The old patterns of dominance and submission, control and rebellion, disappointment and guilt start to transform into patterns of collaboration, understanding, and shared growth. Parenting becomes a path to spiritual awakening for both of you, a sacred dance of souls helping each other remember who they truly are beneath their temporary earthly roles. Sometimes the relationship between a parent and son flows with natural ease and harmony. But often, perhaps, more often than we'd like to admit, there are periods of friction, misunderstanding, conflict, or deep emotional pain. In such moments, you may find yourself asking the difficult questions. Why is this happening? Why is this relationship so challenging? What did I do wrong? The answer, dear soul, often lies not in anything you've done wrong in this lifetime, but in karmic cycles carried over from previous lifetimes, old patterns of interaction that need to be recognized, understood, and finally healed. If your son consistently tests your patience, resists your guidance, or triggers intense emotional responses that seem disproportionate to the immediate situation, it may be because there is an old karmic knot between your souls asking to be gently untied. This doesn't mean you're being punished for past life mistakes or that your son is intentionally trying to make your life difficult. Rather, it means that both souls have returned to this lifetime with the specific intention of working through unresolved issues, healing old wounds, and transforming difficult patterns into wisdom and love. Perhaps, in a previous lifetime, you were the child and your current son was a parent, or authority figure who was overly strict or controlling. This lifetime gives you the opportunity to experience the parental role with greater wisdom and compassion, while giving them the chance to experience childhood with more freedom and understanding. Maybe in past interactions, one of you hurt the other through neglect, abandonment, or betrayal. This lifetime provides the perfect setting for learning about forgiveness, rebuilding trust, and discovering that love can be stronger than past pain. It's possible that you and your son have been caught in repetitive cycles across multiple lifetimes, patterns of conflict, competition, or misunderstanding that keep recreating themselves until both souls develop the awareness and skills needed to break free from these limiting dynamics. Understanding this karmic dimension of challenging parent-son relationships brings tremendous relief and empowerment. It means that the difficulties you're experiencing are not signs of failure or evidence that something is fundamentally wrong with either of you. Instead, they are opportunities for healing and growth disguised as problems. So, how do we respond when we recognize these karmic patterns? Do we react with anger, punishment, guilt, or despair? No. We respond with awareness, compassion, and conscious choice. Paramhansa Yogananda taught that karma can be changed, not by regret or guilt, but by right action in the present moment. This is one of the most empowering spiritual principles ever revealed, because it means that regardless of what happened in the past, you have the power to create a different future through your choices right now. This means that even if past lifetimes brought pain, misunderstanding, or conflict between you and your son, this present moment holds unlimited potential for healing. You can break negative karmic patterns by choosing a higher response than the situation seems to call for. You can interrupt cycles of reactivity by pausing, breathing, and responding from your highest self rather than your triggered emotions. Instead of automatically reacting with the same old patterns, meeting anger with anger, responding to defiance with control, or answering criticism with defensiveness, you can choose to respond with understanding, patience, and love. This doesn't mean becoming permissive or avoiding necessary boundaries, but rather setting those boundaries from a place of calm wisdom rather than emotional reactivity. When harsh words want to arise from your mouth, try choosing silence until you can speak from love. When judgmental thoughts appear in your mind, try replacing them with curiosity about what your son might be feeling or needing. When fear shows up, fear that your son is making wrong choices or heading toward problems, try responding with trust in their soul's ability to learn and grow from their experiences. Every act of conscious parenting, every choice to respond with patience instead of reactivity, every moment of forgiveness offered instead of resentment held creates new karmic energy that uplifts both souls and begins to overwrite the old patterns with new possibilities. Your son provides you with countless opportunities to practice this higher response. Each moment of friction becomes a chance to do things differently this time. Each challenge becomes a spiritual exercise that strengthens your capacity for love, patience, and wisdom. Each conflict becomes a doorway to deeper understanding and connection. This perspective transforms even the most difficult parenting moments into spiritual practices. Bedtime battles become opportunities to practice patience. Homework struggles become chances to offer support without taking on anxiety. Friendship dramas become occasions to teach emotional intelligence and resilience. Remember, karma is not a fixed, unchangeable destiny. It's more like a flowing river, and with love as your boat and wisdom as your paddle, you can navigate even the most turbulent currents. The key is remembering that you're not trying to fight against the river or control its flow, but rather learning to work with its natural movement while choosing your own direction within it. The most powerful tool for transforming karmic patterns is forgiveness, not just forgiving your son for present challenges, but forgiving both of your souls for whatever may have happened in past interactions. This forgiveness is not about condoning harmful behavior or avoiding accountability, but about releasing the energetic charge that keeps old patterns alive. When you forgive, you free both souls from the magnetic pull of repetitive karma. You create space for new possibilities to emerge. You allow love to write a new story that isn't bound by the limitations of past chapters. So whenever the relationship with your son feels intense, difficult, or emotionally charged, try to see it not as punishment or proof of failure, but as a sacred opportunity to heal, grow, and finally free each other from old spiritual chains. This is the quiet miracle of karma, transformed by conscious love, the divine alchemy that turns challenges into blessings and pain into wisdom. There are times when a son is born with special needs, developmental differences, chronic illness, learning disabilities, or deep sensitivities that set them apart from what society considers typical or normal. As a parent facing these circumstances, the emotional journey can be incredibly complex, filled with grief, fear, frustration, overwhelm, and sometimes even guilt or shame. You may find yourself asking the hardest questions a parent can face. Why did this happen to my son? Why was my family chosen for this path? What did we do to deserve this challenge? How will I find the strength to handle everything this requires? But from a spiritual perspective, through the lens of karma, soul evolution, and divine purpose, this situation is not a punishment, mistake, or cosmic accident. It is often a sign of a highly advanced karmic arrangement chosen by exceptionally courageous souls who have agreed to take on one of the most accelerated paths of spiritual growth available to human beings. Paramhansa Yogananda taught that souls who choose to incarnate with significant challenges, disabilities, or health conditions are often highly evolved beings seeking rapid spiritual evolution for themselves and offering profound teachings to everyone around them. They choose these difficult life circumstances not from weakness, ignorance, or bad karma, but from tremendous spiritual strength and a deep desire to serve humanity's awakening. Think about it. Would you voluntarily choose a lifetime of physical limitations, medical procedures, social challenges, and dependency on others unless your soul was strong enough to handle these experiences and wise enough to see their higher purpose? These souls are spiritual athletes, taking on the most intensive training programs available in the Earth School of Human Experience. The parents who are chosen to care for these special souls are also remarkable beings' souls who have been specifically selected for their capacity to provide the love, patience, advocacy, and support that these advanced beings need to fulfill their earthly missions. Yogananda taught that such parents are serving not a burden but a blessing in disguise, a master soul who has come to awaken your heart. In many cases, these sons carry within them a purity of spirit that has been less obscured by worldly conditioning. They may radiate unconditional love, demonstrate remarkable resilience in the face of difficulties, or possess insights and wisdom that seem to come from a source beyond their chronological age or educational experience. They often serve as powerful teachers for everyone who encounters them, breaking down societal assumptions about worth, success, and what makes a life valuable. They challenge us to expand our definitions of intelligence, achievement, and human potential. They invite us to slow down, appreciate simple moments, and recognize the profound beauty that exists in vulnerability and interdependence. Your role as the parent of such a son extends far beyond typical caregiving responsibilities. You become a spiritual companion, helping this soul navigate the physical world while learning from their unique perspective and inner wisdom. You serve as their advocate, interpreter, and bridge between their authentic self and a world that may not initially understand their gifts. The challenges you face, the sleepless nights, medical appointments, advocacy meetings, financial pressures, and emotional intensity are not obstacles to your spiritual growth, but accelerated opportunities for it. Every act of care becomes a form of devotion. Every moment of patience becomes a spiritual practice. Every choice to see your son's inherent perfection despite external challenges becomes an act of divine recognition. These sons often become the heart center of their families, drawing everyone together in service of love and teaching siblings, grandparents, and extended family members about what truly matters in life. They demonstrate that happiness doesn't depend on external circumstances, that love can flourish in the midst of difficulty, and that every human being has unique gifts to offer the world. Many parents report that despite the challenges, having a son with special needs has opened their hearts in ways they never thought possible, connected them with communities of extraordinary families, and taught them about strength they didn't know they possessed. They discover that their son's differences become doorways to experiences of love, meaning, and purpose that might not have been accessible any other way. If you are blessed to be walking this particular path, please know this: your soul and your son's soul chose each other for profoundly sacred reasons. This was not a random assignment or cosmic mistake, but a divine collaboration designed to serve both of your highest spiritual evolution and to offer gifts of love and wisdom to everyone whose lives you touch. Every tear you've shed, every worry you've carried, every small victory you've celebrated, every moment of care you've provided is part of a holy offering that is transforming karma and uplifting both of your spiritual journeys. Your son's presence in your life is simultaneously healing old patterns and creating new possibilities for love, acceptance, and recognition of the divine spark that exists within every human being, regardless of their external circumstances. The world needs these special souls and the families who love them. They serve as living reminders that worth is not determined by productivity, that intelligence comes in many forms, that success can be measured in moments of joy rather than external achievements, and that some of life's greatest teachers come in unexpected packages. So if you are blessed with such a son, honor both your courage and his in choosing this sacred path together. Trust that every challenge contains hidden gifts, every difficulty offers opportunities for grace, and every day spent in loving service is writing a story of such beauty that angels pause to witness its unfolding. As we approach the completion of our journey together through these sacred teachings, let us explore the ultimate question: what is the deepest purpose of this karmic bond between parent and son? Is the relationship simply about playing assigned roles, fulfilling predetermined duties, and balancing old spiritual debts from previous lifetimes? Or is there something even more sacred and transformational hidden within this most intimate of human connections? The truth that emerges from the highest spiritual understanding is both simple and profound. Karma is not the final destination of our soul's journey. Liberation is. The purpose of incarnating into physical existence is not to remain indefinitely caught in cycles of action and reaction, cause and effect, debt and payment. Rather, the ultimate purpose is to transcend these cycles entirely and awaken to our true nature as divine beings temporarily having human experiences. And the most powerful vehicle for this transcendence is love, not the conditional love that depends on behavior, achievement, or meeting expectations, but the pure, selfless, unconditional love that recognizes the divine essence within every soul regardless of their temporary earthly roles or circumstances. Paramhansa Yogananda taught that when we begin to love our sons not as our personal possessions or extensions of our ego, but as divine souls who have been temporarily entrusted to our care, we begin the process of dissolving karma rather than simply balancing it. This shift in perception and feeling represents one of the most profound transformations possible in human consciousness. He explained this principle beautifully. God is the real parent. You are but the caretaker. Serve with devotion but surrender with detachment. This statement contains layers of meaning that can revolutionize both your understanding of parenthood and your experience of it. First, recognizing God as the true parent of all souls places your relationship with your son in proper spiritual context. Your son belongs first and foremost to the divine, just as you do. Both of you are eternal, spiritual beings temporarily playing the roles of parent and child, but these roles are not your ultimate identity. This recognition brings tremendous freedom because it releases you from the impossible burden of trying to control outcomes that are ultimately in divine hands. Second, serving with devotion transforms every aspect of parenting into spiritual practice. Changing diapers becomes an act of love offered to God. Teaching life skills becomes sharing divine wisdom. Providing comfort during difficult times becomes channeling divine compassion. Setting boundaries becomes expressing divine wisdom about growth and learning. Every interaction with your son becomes an opportunity to serve the divine through serving one of God's children. Third, surrendering with detachment doesn't mean caring less or becoming emotionally distant from your son. Rather, it means loving so purely that you're willing to let them be who they truly are rather than who you think they should be. It means supporting their soul's unique path even when it differs from your expectations or preferences. It means celebrating their successes without taking credit and supporting their struggles without taking blame. This balanced approach, devotional service, combined with spiritual detachment, creates the perfect conditions for karma to transform into grace. When you give without expecting specific returns, guide without demanding particular outcomes, and love without conditions or limitations, you step out of the mechanical cycle of karmic exchange and into the realm of divine love, where miracles become possible. The more consistently you live from this space of selfless service and unconditional love, the more inner peace you will experience regardless of external circumstances. Old karmic ties that once felt heavy or binding begin to lighten naturally. Patterns of worry, control, guilt, and fear start to dissolve as they're replaced by trust, acceptance, gratitude, and love. As this transformation occurs within you, it creates a field of healing energy that benefits not only your relationship with your son, but all of your relationships. Your son feels the freedom of being loved for who they truly are, rather than who they need to be to earn love. This unconditional acceptance helps them develop authentic self-worth, emotional security, and their own capacity for loving relationships. When both parent and son begin operating from this level of consciousness, seeing each other as divine souls temporarily walking together, rather than as fixed roles in a family drama, something miraculous happens. The relationship becomes a vehicle for mutual liberation rather than mutual karma. Instead of unconsciously triggering each other's unhealed patterns, they consciously support each other's spiritual growth. Parenting becomes less about molding your son into predetermined forms and more about providing the nurturing environment where their unique divine nature can unfold naturally. It becomes less about teaching them what you think they need to know and more about learning together what life has to teach both of you. It becomes less about controlling their destiny and more about trusting in the divine intelligence that guides all souls toward their highest evolution. In this elevated understanding, challenges that arise in the parent-son relationship are no longer seen as problems to be solved or karma to be endured, but as opportunities for both souls to practice unconditional love, patience, forgiveness, and trust in divine wisdom. Even difficult periods become sacred because they provide the exact circumstances needed for spiritual growth and awakening. The ultimate teaching of this path is that true love liberates rather than binds. When you learn to love your son with the pure, selfless love that seeks only their highest good, even when their highest good leads them in directions you wouldn't choose, you discover that this same quality of love heals your own heart, Razaram, and opens your own consciousness to direct experience of divine truth. This is the sacred alchemy of conscious parenting. Through learning to love one soul completely and unconditionally, you awaken to the love that connects all souls. Through serving one divine being with total devotion, you discover your eternal relationship with the divine itself. Through releasing attachment to one precious relationship, you open yourself to the infinite love that is your true nature. Understanding these profound spiritual principles is one thing. Integrating them into the daily realities of raising a son is another. How do we bridge the gap between mystical insight and practical parenting? How do we maintain this elevated perspective during sleepless nights, homework battles, teenage rebellion, or the thousand small moments that test our patience and wisdom? The key lies in remembering that spiritual growth happens not in isolated moments of meditation or peak experiences, but in the ordinary, everyday interactions that make up the fabric of family life. Every conversation with your son, every decision about discipline, every response to his emotions becomes an opportunity to practice these sacred principles. Begin each day by quietly setting your intention to see your son as a divine soul rather than just your child. This doesn't require elaborate rituals, simply a moment of conscious recognition that you're about to spend time with a fellow spiritual being who deserves the same respect and love you would offer to any sacred presence.